All right, welcome to Estate Division Day 2. And so we're just going to do a continuation of what we did with the first video and just do some more problems just to get you guys more used to what we've been working with. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with our next problem. Now, here's a situation, and that is, so one question students have about estate division is what happens if their heir overbids on an item? All right, so will an overbid give an heir an advantage? Notice that the next problem, Chris decides to overbid on the dress. Will that give him an advantage? Work through the problem and see. All right, so here's what I want you to think about, okay? Again, just kind of keep your mind on this, and that is notice how Chris overbid on the dress. Everyone else is like, $100, $80. Dale was 110, but all of a sudden Chris like does this crazy overbid of $4,000. Now the question is, does that give him an advantage or a disadvantage, or what does it give him? If anything. All right, so let's kind of talk about real quick. All right, so we have Aunt Macy's estate. Now, Aunt Macy does not have a lot of money in her, or doesn't have a lot of items. She only has a dress, card, table, chair, and she only has $500 in cash. Now, since we've already done this once, I'm going to speed up a little bit. Remember when you find, so the first part is what price does each heir estimate the estate to be worth? Remember, you always add, like for example, with Al, you're going to add all the items, and then you're going to add $500. Because remember, in every heir, you have to add the $500 to their estimate. All right, so add all the items and $5,000. I'm sorry, $500. All right. So again, we've already done this, so this should not be new. All right. So when we get all of the estimates, Al thinks that the estate is worth 2,300. Bert thinks it's 2,480. Chris 5980. Remember, Chris overbid with that $4,000 dress bid here, and then Dave thinks it's 2,800. Okay. Now for step one, find the fair share. Okay. So remember, if you remember from the last video, the fair share is everyone's bid divided by the number of heirs. So that means for every single one, like for example, Al thinks it's worth $2,300. So that means in his mind, if we divided it by 4, then everyone should get, in his mind, everyone should get $575. Okay? And then Bert is 620 because we're dividing that by 4. And you do the same thing for Chris. And then you do the same thing for Dave. So 1495. And then Dave is going to be $700. Okay? So let me change the dual display on here. All right. Okay. So again, everybody thinks that they should get. Now notice that Chris's fair share is high because again, going back to this $4,000 bid, he went crazy with his bid on the dress because he really wanted that dress, so that's why he bid $4,000. All right. So if you remember, the next step is you are going to take the fair share and you're going to subtract the winning bids. So this is where you go through the chart and then you start thinking, okay, who actually got the correct bid for each person? So let's see, Chris by far won the dress. Dale won the car. The chair was won by Al, and the table was won by Chris again. All right. Notice Bert didn't win anything, which is fine. So from a mathematical standpoint, you are going to now subtract the winning bids from the fair share. So Al's fair share was $575, but he's won the chair, which is $200 less, which means he's going to get $375 in cash. Okay. Bert, his fair share was $620, but he did not win anything, so that means he's going to get $620 in cash. All right. Chris, our eager beaver here, he won 2 items, so we are going to take his fair share, which is $1,495, subtract the cost of the dress, subtract $350. Now, what that means is he's now negative He's now going to be negative some money. So let's say he's going to be negative $2,855. So even though he overbid, whenever some heir overbids on something, it does not work in their advantage because they're going to have to end up paying back basically what they overbid. So even though he overbid something and he put a high value on the dress, he's going to be paying back $2,855 because he overbid. So again, when it comes to fair estate division, I mean, if someone overbids, it actually doesn't give them an advantage. One could argue it makes a disadvantage, actually. But, and then lastly, Dale, his fair share was 700. So 700, but he won, I think it was the car. So we're going to subtract 1,800, which means he's going to be negative $1,100. All right. So if you remember from step 3, we are going to take what we got from step 2 and just apply it. So remember, we started with $500 in cash. So that means $500 goes here. Anybody who's negative will have to pay back the estate. So Chris and Dave will pay back the estate. So this amount of money will be thrown into this here. All right. So that means when they pay back the estate, they are now paying back their debts, which means they're now sitting on zero because they were negative. They did owe money and then they paid it back. So now they're zero. They're clean. Okay. So let's go ahead and start figuring this out here. And in fact, I can go ahead and take off my dual display here. We can go from here because we don't really need the chart anymore. All right. Choose the right here. So 500, and they're going to be 3,500. So 3,500, 3,955, 3,955, I'll get it right, is what's going to be paid back to the estate, which means there's now a total amount of $4,455. Now people start getting paid. So A needs $375 in cash. B needs $620,000 or $620 in cash. C and D are sitting on goose eggs because they've already paid back their amount, which means there's $3,460 left over. Now, if there's any money that ever is left over, it will be evenly divided because at this point in time, everything has been divided up evenly. So you just have what is called a bonus. You just have leftover money that needs to be divided. So we're going to divide that by 4, which gives us 865. All right. And of course, I can't even remember that's a clean 865, or if I round it, I think it's a clean 865 because I would have made a note. All right, so now let's finish everything up. Okay, so looking at Al, if you remember, Al got $375 in cash. All right, so he got $375 in cash, but he's also getting a bonus of 865, which means he'll have a grand total of $1,240 in cash, but he also won the chair. Okay? B, Bert, I think that was his name, he never won anything, so nothing was subtracted from his cash, so he's going to be at 620 plus his bonus, which remember his bonus was 865, which means he'll be walking out with $1,485, and he did not win anything. All right. C, which is Chris. Remember, he overbid on the chair or on the dress, so that means he actually had to owe money. So 0 plus 865 means he's going to end up with 865 and a very, very expensive dress, I guess, in his mind. And then lastly, Dave was the same thing. He started with 0 once he paid back everything. Actually, no, some of you guys are yelling at me. He won the dress and something else. I think he and the table. So he won 2 things. And then lastly, Dave, he was at 0.2 plus 865, so that means he'll be getting 865 back, and then he'll be getting the car. All right, so there you go. That's how you divide everything up. Hope this extra question was something that was beneficial for you guys. And yeah, let's see if there's enough time to try another one. All right, let's keep going. Sorry, I had to pause the video. Okay, so here's example number 3, Farmer Fred. All right, now now we're going to go a little faster on this because this is now the third question that we've done. Notice that old Farmer Fred, we are at $0 in cash. Uh-oh. No cash in the amount. All right, so $0 in the $0 in the account. So, um, what we're going to do is, again, just to kind of keep this simple, we're going to go ahead and add up pig, horse, duck, cow. And I went ahead and just said A, B, C, D. Those are the heirs. So I'm just keeping things simple here. So, again, we're going to add everything up. We've done this. This is now 3 times. So A thinks everything's worth 1170. B thinks everything's worth 1305. What's nice about this is that there's no cash in the account. So guess what? We don't have to add the cash to everything because there's no cash. All right, so just adding up everybody, 1,000. All right, so now we're going to divide everyone's fair share depending on, by the number of heirs. And there's 4 heirs. Pretty much in all these questions, there's always going to be 4 heirs just because it's easier with 4. Numbers get divided easier this way. So A, everybody thinks it should be 493, and I might have rounded on that one here. B, everyone should get $326 in cash. C thinks, again, it's the exact same. It can happen. Sometimes the fair shares can be the same for different heirs. Now we're at 250. Okay. Now once we get to step 1, so let's turn on the old dual display here. So now we then start awarding the animals to each heir. All right. Let's see. Who is going to get the pig? A is going to get the pig. Who's going to get the horse? B is going to get the horse. Who's going to get the duck? $30 duck. Who's going to get the cow? $700. All right. So it looks like everyone's getting something. So we are going to subtract everyone's fair share from what they won. All right. So A fair share was $293. A will be awarded the $50 pig, which means he is going to get $243 in cash. B, his fair share was $326. B ended up winning a horse, which means we're in negative. So basically what that means is he owes $274. That's basically what that is. All right, so it'd be a negative $274, which means he owes $274. C was also $326, and we're going to subtract the cost of the cow. So that means basically he's going to be negative, which basically means he owes $374. I know on the last one I put negative, but I'm just trying to use O as opposed to negative. So hopefully that's not confusing you. And then D, we're at, let's see, D's fair share was $250, and he won a $30 duck. So that means he's going to receive $220 in cash. Now, at this point in time, folks, I hope you remember that anybody that owes money will be thrown into this column here, or this part right here. Remember, anybody that owes has got to pay back the estate. So when they owe, all of a sudden, C will be now sitting on a goose egg because he made his debt be gone. So we are starting with $0. So when the people owe back the money, so let's, now that we're done with our chart, let's go ahead and turn off our dual display here. So the money from the heirs is $648 because C and B paid back. So now we're at $648 to pay back the other heirs. A gets $243. B gets nothing because they owed money. C gets nothing because they owed money. D is going to get $220, which gives us $185. That's how much cash was left over after everyone was divided up. $185 divided by 4 heirs. Looks like it's going to be a rounded thing. So we're going to round to, we'll just say $46. So A had $243 in cash plus $46, ends up with $289, and the item 1 was the pig. B, remember, had 0 because he had to pay back some money. He got the bonus, which gives 46, and he got the horse. C, or again, if you remember, C had to owe back money, so that means he's only going to get the bonus, 46, and I believe he got the cow. And then lastly, D, he started off with 220 plus 46, and now he's going to get $266, and he gets the duck. There you go. Hopefully that made sense. I did that faster, but this is the third time you saw it, so it should be easier. Thank you for watching.